What if I told you? The same player who scored the winning goal in a Champions League final is now one of the most criticized players in the Premier League. This is the story of a generational talent, a wonder kid from Germany, a Champions League hero, and how the world slowly forgot Havertz. Chapter 1. The German Wonder Kid. Kai Havertz was not just talented, he was special. At just 17 years old, he became the youngest debutant in Bayer Leverkusen's history. Calm, elegant, intelligent. He didn't look like a teenager. He played like a veteran. By 18, he became the youngest player to score 10 Bundesliga goals. By 20, Europe was watching. People called him the next Mesut Ozil, the next Michael Ballack, Germany's future. In the 2018-19 season, he scored 17 league goals as a midfielder. Let that sink in. A midfielder, 17 goals. In the Bundesliga, he wasn't flashy, he wasn't loud, he was ice cold, and Europe's giants were waiting. Chapter 2. The £70 million move. In 2020, Chelsea paid around £70 million for Kai Havertz. It was the biggest transfer of their summer. Chelsea fans believe they signed a future Ballon d'Or contender. But here's the problem. The Premier League is not the Bundesliga. It's faster, it's more physical, it's ruthless. Havertz struggled in his first season. Fans questioned him, pundits doubted him. But then, one night changed everything. The Champions League final. May 29th, 2021, Chelsea vs Manchester City. Champions League final. Biggest game in club football, and in the 42nd minute, Mason Mount makes the pass. Havertz runs through, rounds Ederson. Goal. Chelsea win 1-0. Kai Havertz scored the winning goal in a Champions League final at 21 years old. That moment should have been the start of greatness. But it wasn't. It was the peak. Chapter 4. The decline at Chelsea. After the Champions League win, expectations exploded, but consistency never came. Why? Because Havertz never had a fixed position. Was he a striker, a number 10-10, a false 9, a winger? Every manager used him differently. Lampard, Tuchel, Totter. Different systems, different roles. He worked hard, he pressed, he sacrificed, but goals, assists, magic moments, they became rare. Fans grew frustrated. The same player who once looked like Germany's golden boy was now being called a flop. And in 2023, Chelsea sold him. Chapter 5. The Arsenal Gamble. When Arsenal signed Havertz, the internet exploded. Why would Arsenal buy him? Overpriced. Chelsea reject. Even Arsenal fans were divided. The pressure was massive. At first, it looked like a disaster. Missed chances, low confidence, criticism everywhere. But slowly, Mikel Arteta started using him differently. Not as a traditional striker, not as a pure midfielder, but as a tactical weapon. Late runs, aerial threat, pressing machine. He started scoring important goals, not spectacular ones, important ones. And slowly, people began to remember. But after joining Arsenal, injuries never gave him much playing time. Chapter 6. Was he really a failure? Let's be honest. Kai Havertz has a Champions League medal, has scored in a final, has played for Germany, has played for top Premier League clubs. That's not failure. The problem wasn't talent, it was expectation. When you label someone the next superstar, if they become very good instead of world-class, people call it a fall. But maybe the world didn't forget Havertz. Maybe they just expected too much. At the end, football is brutal. One season, you're a hero. Next season, you're overrated. Kai Havertz's story isn't finished. He's still young, still evolving. And maybe his best chapter hasn't even started. If you enjoyed this football story, subscribe to Raf Explain. Because here, we don't just talk football. We explain it.